Setting up your meeting for Facebook Live.
So meeting is now streaming live on Facebook. So I believe we are live.
Yay! Hi, everybody. We're so excited. We're doing something new today. We are very excited to be here with Matt and James. We are talking about time management today. Can you guys hear everything okay?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think James, there's a little feedback coming from yours, but
okay. I'm totally sitting in silence. Roadside, not even driving.
Well,
or maybe it's a feedback through your Sheila. I wonder if it's coming through on your Facebook.
Okay. Not sure.
All right, no big deal. I'll get through it.
Okay. So basically what we want to talk about today is time management. And the reason why we want to talk about this is it is the most important thing for every single person in the business or in any business, because until you learn to master time management and learn how to invest your time and not waste your time, you can never get to the next level. And I think all of us have worked very hard on this over the years. So one of the things Matt and I were talking about a little bit ago is a book that the three of us had gotten about 7 years ago when we met, called The Miracle Morning. And we all started doing that system of getting up at 4 a.m, disciplining ourselves, and accomplishing everything that we wanted to accomplish systematically for ourselves before the day started. So Matt, do you want to jump in here about kind of what you think about time management and what you've done?
So first of all, I truly believe if you master your morning, you master your day, right? I mean, I want to challenge everybody out there that do not think that they're a morning person, that is your mindset. You may not be a morning person right now, but you can become a morning person. And all you have to do, and you start out with little bits at a time. So waking up every day or thinking right now, 1:30 in the afternoon Central Time, that you are becoming a morning person, right? You can become one. And there's certain tricks that we'll get into on doing that. But I mean,
skills you'll build from in order to see that you have the lifestyle change to be a morning person. It's a crutch if you're telling yourself you're not a morning person. Get off, kick the crutches out, and let's man and lady up, and let's be adults about it. Number one, you need to have consistency with your bedtimes and your bedtime routine if you want to be consistent with your mornings.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
That's the biggest thing I hear people say when they ask, how in the world do you get up at 4 or 5 in the morning? I said, I'm disciplined about going to bed. That's where it starts.
It's early to bed, early to rise. Right?
I'm going to go to bed early, and I go to bed at 9. And typically, pretty much around 4:30. I don't do 4 as much anymore. I did for about 6 years, but around 4:30 or 5 at the very latest, I'll get up. But I'm in bed at 9.
Right. Same here. And here's what's funny. I never set an alarm clock. I haven't had an alarm clock set for 10 years, and I'm always up in between 4 and probably 5:15 at the latest.
Yep.
Right.
I don't need to set an alarm clock. I don't need to wear a watch. I know when it's time to go to bed. Like those internal mechanisms work when you listen to them.
Right. And the more you discipline yourself, the more your body gets into the habit of it. And that's really what it is for everybody listening, is creating habits. So you create a habit from a choice that you made, from a decision that you wanted a different life. And then those habits build consistency, build character, and will eventually build the life that you want. But it starts with one decision of, I'm going to go to bed at 9 so I can get up at 4 or 5.
Yep. And I want to be clear, I'm not a 9 o'clock bed person. But I do know that my children who excel in life at 9 and 12 do have a consistent bedtime as well. So if you think that you can get by and be consistently excelling in life and stay up till whenever you want, you're sadly mistaken. I do go to bed at a consistent time every night, and it's 10:30, and I'm up at 5 a.m. every day, and that's how much sleep I need. I need 6 hours sleep.
Yeah, everybody's different.
Yep, everyone's different. Maybe you need a little more sleep, maybe you need a little less, but you need to be consistent with your times to settle in and your routine when you settle in, so that you are your mind is calm and you're able to go to sleep, so that you're able to wake rested and recharged.
Yeah. So, mastering not just the early morning, but, I'll tell everybody in real estate on all of time management, noon up until noon, one, get up and master yourself, get yourself prepared for the day. And in the miracle morning, we'll go over some stuff really quick. But first thing, you need to hydrate your body. So you need to, first thing when you wake up is drink a glass of water. Then you need to have time for either meditation or prayer. And then, some form of exercise. Get your ass moving, right? And I don't care if it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 30 minutes. Just move, do something, right? To get that blood flowing, to get going. I also read every morning. And, so we're not going to spend the whole time on the Miracle Morning. Get that book and do the Savor. It's called Savers in the Miracle Morning. And each one of us do that every morning. But the next step is then, eating. And every one of us is usually working either at the office or working from home. We have a set schedule by 8 o'clock in the morning, right? By 8 o'clock, we're working. We're starting our day. We're waking up at 4:35. We're getting our time in. We that also includes that for me, that usually includes about an hour of time with my boys, right? In that time period, right? There's plenty of time. I get a whole time for me time, and I get boy time, with my boys before I even start the workday.
And that's really super important, I think, because, and here's the reason why. You're paying yourself first. You're investing in yourself right first thing in the morning. And then you're going and you're investing in your children, right? Before you're going to make the cash register ring in your business. And it really pays you big dividends in life when you put that time first in your day, because it really sets your day up for success. And it puts things in perspective of what's really, truly important.
Yeah. Then we need to talk about once you're at work, right? And here's I honestly believe, and here's what I've been coaching for years, is there is no fire in real estate big enough that it can't wait until afternoon to handle, right? 12 o'clock, noon is the deadline. So until noon, I want you guys to work in your business. Afternoon, you work on your business, right? I guarantee, and that's what I tell you, if you master the morning, you master the day. That morning goes all the way up until noon. And if you can focus on working on your business until noon, the rest of the day, you don't even really have to plan out, because it will take care of itself from noon on. But there is nothing that has to get done before noon, right? So you need to focus on your money producing activity before noon, right? What is that, right? If you haven't heard of it, the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 principle, 20% of what you do will get you 80% of the results, okay? 20% of the leads that come in get you 80% of the results. 20% of what you spend time on is it's a proven principle. Just like gravity is a principle, right? If I drop this book, it will fall. The Pareto principle is a principle just like gravity. So you need to focus all your time up until noon on that 20%. And that's going to be a little different for everybody, but I guarantee it involves lead generation and making some type of phone call, or, you know, it doesn't have to, we're not saying make phone calls all the way up until noon, but lead generation is also working on, you know, maybe some marketing, right? You know, doing something that's going to get you business. It's working in the bit or on the business, not in it. Right.
Time blocking that time out in our days, not
Yeah.
just that you're working in your business in the mornings, but you're blocking your time out so that you're making the same decisions over and over again to advance your board. Your business advances daily by little steps you take every day consistently.
Exactly. And really what that looks like. So, and you say time blocking, and people, we talk about time blocking all the time, but I don't know, you know, and again, I always got to remind myself that I don't know what I don't know. And sometimes I don't know what other people don't know. Right. If that makes sense. But so what is time blocking? Right. Some people are like that, you know, and for years, I remember back years before when I first started hearing the concept of time blocking, I was like, time blocking, what the hell is time blocking?
I did the same thing.
It's literally, guys, have a calendar, your daily calendar. I have my phone here. I'll show you what time blocking is. Right. Well, I don't know if you can see this. You probably can't. I have actually time blocked out time that says lead generation, right? It's 2 hours this morning where it says lead generation. And then I have on here, meet Ginger at the office after lead generation. I have in here blocked out on my calendar, go to gym, right? I have blocked out for this, what we're doing right now, go live, right? This isn't spontaneous. This is in my calendar. And then right after this, I have blocked in there, go on a listing, right? So it's actually taking and blocking it out. And you can even start, I would start with doing this for the year. And I will show you, I have right here, there's my calendar. See the yearly calendar? I have blocked out all my play time and my trip times, the big rocks that I'm going to hit this year, right? Because you want to start with your planning time and your play time.
Okay. Hold on. Let's stop there for a second. So I think people make the mistake of being all or nothing. So like, I'm obsessed with work. I want to be successful. So I'm going to work 17 hours a day. Instead of being disciplined about, let's talk about what you want to achieve, and then you time block and you plan and you schedule it out, kind of like what you talked about. And you mentioned something called big rocks. So what you do is you look at a yearly calendar and say, the very first thing I'm going to time block in my calendar for the year are the events that I'm going to go to, whether it's real estate events that you're going to learn and train and grow, company events, if depending on the company you're with, vacation time with your family, so that you make sure that you're investing time with your family, and you put all of those things on your calendar first. That's the very first thing you should do every year, is make sure all of those big blocks, the big rocks, are put into your calendar. Then you start scheduling in, like what Matt says. So if you are, if you're really wanting to grow, you have to make that commitment to lead generation. You can't grow without it. It doesn't happen on its own. It has to be a decision that you make every day, 5 days a week, 6 days if you want to be really aggressive, a minimum of an hour to 2 hours minimum.
Yeah. And really, you know, I learned this when I first got into the business, and I think it holds true. What else do you have to do? What's more important than lead generation if you don't have? So when I first got into my career, I always started my day with, do I have a closing today? Right? Do I have a closing? And if the answer is yes, great. That's the most important thing of the day, right? I'm getting paid. Closing. But if the answer is no, then I have to think to myself, well, oh crap, right? I don't have a closing today. I'm not getting paid today. So what's the second most important thing? Okay. Do I have an appointment today? Right? Do I have a listing appointment or a buyer appointment? And if the answer is yes, great, right? That's good because I'm actually meeting with a client. If the answer is no, I have to say to myself, well, oh crap, right? Then what's next? Okay. The only thing left is what am I doing to get an appointment today? Right? So that's it. Or get an appointment for the next day. So if you don't have a closing or an actual listing or buyer appointment today, your main thing that you should be doing is lead generating.
Yep. And so lead generation, to be clear, folks, is having conversations about real estate with more people than you were doing yesterday. That's what it is. There are many ways you can do that. And there are many types of conversations you can have, and knowing your business plan and who you're trying to attract is important. So you're not throwing darts at a wall, but you need to be in front of more people discussing real estate on a daily basis to increase your business, period. This is about market share. And the only way you get market share is to have more conversations and be top of mind for people about real estate.
Right. So let's go back to the time blocking, right? And I think you have to also set yourself up for success by creating an environment for success, right? So, you start off. I want you guys, if you're not good at time blocking for lead generation, I don't want you to go out and go ahead and time block off 2 or 3 hours. If you haven't been doing this at all, I want you to start small, right? I want you to, let's crawl before we walk before we run, but let's get up and start running pretty quickly, right? So I want you to start out for the next week on just time blocking out a half an hour to 45 minutes a day that you're going to focus just on lead generation. Now that could be cold calling for sell by owners or expireds, or what most people will be very good at. And if you haven't been doing this, is I want you to call your sphere of influence, right? People you already know, people that already know you, like you, and trust you, right? If you don't know, get on Facebook, call your friends, do that. Call past clients. If you don't have past clients, call people that you want to be clients that are friends and family. But I just want you to do 30 minutes to 45 minutes every day. Block that in. Start at the same time every day. Consistency is key, people. You have to train your body. You have to train your mind that you're going to be doing it at the same time every day, right? So do that for 1 week. Then the next week, I want you to add a half an hour to 45 minutes onto that, right? And then the next week, I want you to add a half an hour to 45 minutes. So after 3 weeks, you're up to either an hour and a half to 2.5 hours of lead generation every day, 5 days a week. Start slow though, right? Here's some other things. When I say set your environment up for success, is you can't have distractions, right? You want to have what you consider a bunker mentality, right? Like it's your own personal lead generation space where you're not going to get distracted. And when I talk about mastering the morning, mastering your day up until noon, guys, and I know this is going to be tough, but I promise you it works, is I do not want you to check your email or check your text messages until noon, right? I want you to somehow set that aside, put your damn phone on airplane mode if you need to, or if you're making calls through your phone, put it on. Most phones have a do not disturb, right? So if somebody calls you, it will go straight to voicemail. That will distract you at least right now during that hour. And do not pull up. The last thing you need to do is pull up your email and check your email in the morning, right? Every one of my coaching clients agrees to when they come on is they will not check their email until afternoon. And I promise you guys, there's nothing in there that's so urgent you have to check it.
You have to respond to it immediately. Exactly.
Yeah, because here's what happens. I've been there. We've all been there. As you get up early and you're like, I'm having my coffee. I'm just going to check my email. And then boom, you see something. You're like, oh, this offer just came in, or boom, this counter or something happened. And you're like, well, let me just handle that real quick. Nothing's real quick in real estate. Like then it's 9:30. You're still getting calls back, and then it's 10:30, and then it's 11:30, and then it's past noon, and all you've been doing is working in real estate and on it, right? There's nothing that can't wait, and I can prove it. Like if anybody ever goes into a normal real estate office, right, or going in, the typical agent, not talking about people that are listening to this, because we're talking about the top 5% who are probably listening to this, right? We're the rock stars. But that typical real estate agent, here's what happens. The typical real estate agent rolls out of bed around 8:30, 9:30 every day, right? That's why they got into real estate, so they could set their own schedule and have their own free time, right? I know you've heard that before. So they roll out of bed at 9:30. They have their coffee. They're checking their Facebook, their email. They're watching. I don't even know what's on TV at that time, but they're watching those TV shows. And then they decide, oh, it's, let me roll into the office. They roll into the office about 10:45, right? And they walk in and they go over to the coffee pot or the water cooler, and they start chatting with other agents that just rolled in, and they're complaining about not having any business. And then they look at the flyer. And what does that flyer say? Free broker luncheon starting at 11 o'clock. And they're like, hey, it's almost 11. And they roll and they go and they all jump in the car and they bitch the whole way that they don't have any business to this luncheon. And they all sit around and they eat lunch until about noon. And then they finally get back to the office at noon, and boom. Then what happens? They start working on real estate about noon, right? And they complain because they're only closing what the average agent closes, 4 to 6 deals a year.
I mean, seriously, if you think you're going to get ahead in life working 3 hours a day, I don't care what you do. I mean, it's not happening.
Well, but my whole point is most agents, average agents, aren't working until noon anyway, right? You have a chance to come in and kick ass before noon and then handle it. Then, like, here's what I love. I love it when I've mastered the morning and I've kicked butt, and for noon hits and I look down and for some reason I set a ton of appointments, but none of those appointments were for actually that day. And then I look at my calendar and I go, I can take off right now if I want to. I'm done, right? Everybody's just getting started and I can literally take off because I've mastered it, right? Now, I typically don't do that, but I can. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I kicked butt. It's noon. I'm done for the day. There have been times I went and picked up my boys from school. Hey, we're playing hooky. What's hooky, Dad? This is it, right? And we just go out and have a great time because I mastered my morning. I'm done. And people are just there showing up. Anyway, so
guys, doing this, I'm just going to flat out tell you, 80% of you are not going to do this because it's work. To discipline yourself to do this is going to take commitment. You're going to have to commit to yourself. And trust me, it is worth it, but you're going to have to convince yourself and commit yourself and do this. That's really where it's at, because nobody is responsible for your success. That's you.
And the truth is, like you're saying, James, it's work. Anything that's worth having is worth working for. And in the beginning, it is really hard. In the beginning, it is so stressful trying to change and trying to get your body to get out of bed, and they have little tricks about, drinking.
Alarm clock across the room. Don't have it where you can hit the snooze
Alarm
button.
clock across the room. Brush your teeth as soon as you get up. Drink a glass of water as soon as you get up. Splash water on your face as soon as you get up. There's all sorts of things like that whatever it does for you that helps you get out of bed, just get out of bed. And it's not, literally, it is the first 2 to 3 seconds that determine your life. because in the first 2 to 3 seconds, you make the decision whether to hit the snooze or not.
Oh,
And so
Sure.
it's the first 2 to 3 seconds that will change your life, because instead of hitting the snooze, let your feet hit the floor. And that is the beginning of it.
and how idiotic is the snooze button, right? It's the
Yeah.
dumbest invention ever,
Yeah.
right? I hate getting up so much that I'm going to hit the snooze, so I have to go through this pain of getting up again 2 or 3 more times this morning.
Yeah,
It makes no sense to me. I never got the snooze button. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm just like,
postpone my life. I want to postpone my life for a half hour.
right. And
Really what
it's
we're
not
saying.
even good sleep. You're not going into REM sleep in 9 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
Take control of your day, take control of yourself, and discipline your habits.
right. Yep. Well, and it's much easier said than done. And that's why, you know, reach out to us, because get one, the Miracle Morning helps. Some quick pointers you can do there is, you know, one, get a TV out of your bedroom, right? Because if you're falling asleep with the TV on, or if you're going to bed, you're going to stay up later. Make it discipline. You know, the bedroom should be used for sleeping and lovemaking, and that's about it, right?
Don't take your phone to bed and watch Netflix in bed with your phone and look at social media until the wee hours of the morning. Seriously, I don't even allow the phone in my bedroom, and I don't have a television in my bedroom, because I completely agree with you 110%, Matt.
Yep, me too. I put my phone in the other room because it beeps all the time, all night long. So I'm like, I don't want to be woke up. So I have it in the other room.
Phone's
Right.
in the office, and I don't touch that phone until I finish my Miracle Morning and fed my dogs and send my kids to school.
Yep. So, I mean, yeah, time block, focus on the most important thing I can say is plan out your day and make up until noon working in your business or on your business, not in it. Afternoon, do whatever you want, right? But stay focused on the money producing, dollar producing activities up until noon.
And everything you can do in advance to help yourself do this stuff, you guys, is helpful. Meaning, I have my shoes in a certain spot. When I take them off, I put them back in that spot. I have my knee brace in a certain spot, my clothes in a certain spot. I know exactly where everything's at, so I don't have to think about it. I'm not rummaging around looking for things. The more organized you can be, the more disciplined you can be. And sometimes it takes a little while to get yourself to that level, but it's like, it just becomes who you are.
Take imperfect action, commit to yourself. You're going to do this, make adjustments as you go. You'll get stronger. You'll get better at it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, anything else, you guys, before we wrap up?
No,
I
I
got time blocked in that I got to go to a listing appointment. So.
And I just took one. I just took a nice one. So
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks, you guys. We will talk to you next week. Hope you all have a great week.
you
All
too.
right.
Good seeing you guys. Talk to you soon.